Now to a gruesome case at the workplace. A woman beheaded allegedly by a former co-worker. 30-year-old Alton Nolen is accused in that brutal murder near Oklahoma City and also of attacking another former colleague at a food processing plant. Police say a manager put a stop to him by shooting him. How does the law play out in such a horrific and bizarre case? Our legal panel here, Mercedes Colwin, Fox News legal analyst, and Robert Schalk, a defense attorney and former prosecutor. Man, this is really strange and very scary and bizarre. I'm going to start with you on this one, Mercedes. So where do prosecutors start on this?
Oh, first of all, the first thing that these attorneys are going to do, they're going to say, of course, this is such a gruesome, horrific murder. He wasn't stable. He had a temporary insanity. That's what defense attorneys are going to say.
You weren't going to say that. I'm so over that argument.
And you know what's great about that? That the jurors feel the same way you do. Don't come into this courtroom and say, I was so crazy because look what I ended up doing. But that's what the defense attorneys are going to do. But prosecutors have already charged him. They're going to charge him with first-degree murder. They've already charged him with assault. So they're going to certainly seek the maximum penalty if they possibly can. But defense attorneys are going to step in and say he's crazy.
Yeah, but Bob, come on. Let's say you're this guy's defense attorney, and I would not want you to be, but.
Tough case.
Insanity. Come on, they have to have something else.
As Mercedes points out, I mean, obviously it's something you have to look into, and she's right. Jurors do roll their eyes, as do most people when you say the temporary insanity defense. He would have to have some sort of history here, but I mean, this case is, on its face, appears so rock solid for the prosecution that there may be no other hand to play than try to, get him evaluated and say that he was temporarily insane or something like that. But and another point is, Oklahoma's a death penalty state,
right.
So this is going to be high stakes. They're not going to give a plea bargain here. This is going to be a death penalty case, in my opinion. So, I mean, they're going to have to formulate some kind of defense here.
And Mercedes, there's that other factor here. Nothing has been proven. There are no dots connected at this point. But the allegations at this point that some of the co-workers allege that this guy yelled out some craziness perhaps before he did this unspeakable act, and that he was perhaps trying to convert some of the co-workers to Islam.
There could be a bias crime. Well, that's a great point. It could be a bias crime as well, because here's someone who is not of that faith, and he's attacking these two co-workers that he may or may not have been trying to indoctrinate. If they have that type of bias, then the federal charges can step in. But right now, these are the local statutes that are stepping in, but the feds can step in, and there's no double jeopardy that attaches. So he can go through the state proceeding, get convicted, get time, and then it could be suspended. That time can be suspended for him to get the federal charges, which would include the bias crimes.
And Bob, at this point, as we speak, I'm not sure if they've had a chance to interview this guy he got shot, so he was in the hospital. Right. The question is, will they be able to interrogate him without an attorney?
Well, the question is going to be whether or not he has any family or he himself invokes his right to counsel. And to be honest with you, based upon the facts that they're being laid out, they may not need a statement from him to convict him. Right. So what they may do is they may not even give him his Miranda warnings. They may just start questioning him because it's an intelligence gathering situation. What else will he tell us? Is this a lone wolf terrorist thing where the feds may get involved? Right. Will he tip his hand about websites he's been to? Will he give them consent to search his apartment or his computer? So I think it'd be more towards intelligence gathering than real interrogation. But absolutely, if they give him Miranda rights and he waives them, they can absolutely question him.
Does memory serve me right that this guy had prior convictions, that he was out on probation? Mercedes?
He was, but nothing like this.
Supposed to get out, for some minor charges.
Minor charges.
He was supposed to be out in April. Right. He was arrested in violation in April, and he was supposed to be off of probation, if you will, in 2017 or
exactly.
Right?
And you know what? That's going to start to seep into a civil case against the employer, saying, "Hey, you knew this man had some criminal history." Of course, they're going to turn around and say, "Well, did we ever assume that this man is such a danger that we couldn't have hired him or fired him or whatnot?" But with that these criminal convictions, they may be on the hook civilly.
However, Bob, if you are representing the company now, pardon me, to Mercedes' point, they say, yeah, but he didn't do anything so egregious that the man didn't have a right to try to get a job.
No, that's true. He does have the right to get the job. But again, to Mercedes' point, it's such a tough case to defend now from the employer side, this negligent hiring. I mean, if they didn't do a background check, that's a problem, and two, if they did a background check and they still hired him, it's an even bigger problem. So I think they're kind of going to be stuck there. But I mean, this is just a horrific situation.
And just to add a little more to that, there are statutes that say you can't discriminate against someone who has a criminal history. Right. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I'm not going to hire you because of this criminal history. Right. P.S. You may get a lawsuit. I'm going to hire you, and then this gruesome act can happen.
beheading in Oklahoma City or near Oklahoma City? I mean, how does that play in? How do you find a jury that is not going to be affected by that?
Oh, undoubtedly, especially because of all the media that's surrounding the ISIS movement. Yes, people are very certainly scared. In Oklahoma City, they had that horrible bombing not too long ago, so it's going to be tough.
All right, Mercedes Cohen or Robert Schalk, right?
Yep.
Tell your wife hello. You were on good behavior. Thank you. All right, Leland.
Thanks.
There is still a mess in the Chicago area for airline passengers more than a day after a fire in a critical air traffic control facility. The planes are flying again after hundreds of cancellations yesterday and today. Police believe the fire was intentionally set, crippling two of the nation's busiest airports. Dominic DiNatale has the latest.